Let's hit on a topic that's really important to discuss at this point because free agency for women's basketball is about to pop right now. It is March 26th, 2025, and decisions have got to get made. You have a expansion draft popping on April 3rd, and free agency will be starting shortly thereafter. You got to make decisions on the quick today. This isn't typical free agency situation, and one of the biggest questions of the Indiana Fever is what will the Fever do with Kelsey Mitchell? It is a decision that has to get made because now that you have these players getting paid some real money, you're going to have players that think that they are all max players or super max players. And they are mostly not, realistically. So we're going to talk about that today on this video. What should the Indiana Fever do with Kelsey Mitchell? Let's jump in. Welcome back, everyone, to another edition of Her Game, Her Way Women's Basketball. Powered by Come On Now, the podcast. We talk facts over feelings. Like to comment, subscribe, leave your thoughts. Like the video, of course. It helps with the algorithm. So please do like and subscribe and follow and all that good stuff. Hit us up on our social media. Come On Now, the podcast. Come On Now, podcast. And, of course, on, our Her Game, Her Way Women's Basketball Instagram as well, where I drop shorts and videos there that do not get to YouTube. So I thank you in advance, as usual. Kelsey Mitchell is a conundrum because if you just look at it from a narrow lens, not a wide, a narrow lens, and you look at it from that narrow lens and you say, well, she's obviously a very good player. And I'm not going to argue against that. She's a very good player. But in basketball, and I'm not saying women's basketball, in basketball, there are a lot of very good players. The question is that player a very good player for your team? For the team you have constructed, for the team that you're trying to build, for the team that you're trying to create. And if you have to if you have to even question, like I realistically, it seems like the jury is about 50-50 with keeping Kelsey Mitchell or dumping her. Heck, I think I might even lean more towards seeing it 60-40, like to dump Kelsey Mitchell from people in comments. Like maybe even more than that. But Kelsey Mitchell averaged last year 20.2 points per game, 3.5 assists, less than 2 rebounds. She shot 46% and 39% from three. She obviously helped lead the team to the semifinals where they lost to Vegas in a game that she went out with rhabdo, had a rhabdo attack, which is very serious, and knocked her out of the game in a game that they ended up losing in overtime. A game that if she doesn't go down, I gotta believe they probably win. And they do probably end up in the WNBA championship. And heck, I'm gonna be completely transparent. If they had beaten Vegas, I would have expected them to win the championship because I had picked Vegas to win the championship before the playoffs started. All that said, Caitlin Clark is back. And with Caitlin Clark back, is Kelsey Mitchell the right player to have next to her? And you got to ask that question. Because, for one, Kelsey Mitchell, before Caitlin Clark, never helped this team win. This franchise stunk for Kelsey Mitchell's first, 5 years? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, first 6 years. Her first 6 years, this team stunk. They were bad, bluntly bad. And she didn't help them win. Not even with Aaliyah Boston. Her and Aaliyah Boston couldn't win games. Caitlin Clark comes in. They make the playoffs. And Caitlin Clark created a culture, in my opinion, where there was belief that you could win. Now, Caitlin obviously got hurt, and Indiana made a whole lot of moves to try to make up for that, for the fact that they lost their best player, and they brought in a whole bunch of people off of the couch who ended up being pretty damn good. And I'm not going to take it away from him. Aaron McDonald was pretty damn good. Odyssey Sims was pretty damn good. And they were difference makers. So why wouldn't they have those players with Caitlin Clark? I would ask. If I was Indiana, I would highly recommend bringing at least Ari McDonald back, and maybe even bringing Odyssey Sims back. You can bring them back on minimum contracts, 1-year deals, and I think you'll be in a much better position than you were last season when you started last year with Sydney Colson as your backup point guard, who had no business being on this team, right? So Kelsey Mitchell, the conversation to Kelsey Mitchell is a major one because everybody's a free agent. Everybody. But Kelsey Mitchell's attitude at times, the commentary from her family members on social media, where they basically rip Caitlin Clark and complain about her status on the team and stuff like that. That's telling because they're not doing that without hearing it from her, more than likely. And even if she didn't say it, she made them feel it enough that they felt comfortable enough to voice their opinions on something they should probably shut the hell up on because they're just impacting her career negatively. That's not a positive impact. That's a negative impact. And you have now you have to look forward and say, well, Caitlin Clark is back. Does Kelsey Mitchell's family hate Caitlin Clark? Is Kelsey Mitchell's family going to talk trash about Caitlin Clark if she doesn't play well? That is a major question. You got to ask yourself that question. Will that happen? Could that happen? And the reality is, yes, it probably will happen. If Caitlin Clark does not play well, her family will run their mouths. They haven't seemed to be shy about it before. So, in my opinion, Kelsey Mitchell needs to go. Will the Indiana Fever front office have the stones to do it? That remains to be seen. I think for the betterment of their team and the direction that they're trying to go, I think Kelsey Mitchell needs to be gone. And the question now becomes, do you core her or do you let her or you leave her available in the expansion draft? She wasn't featured in any of the most recent Indiana marketing materials, which is telling because she is a free agent and the only players that got featured were people that are under contract. But at this in Caitlin, Aaliyah Boston, and Michaela Simpson. But even that said, if you were going to go after her, you'd probably include her in your marketing. I can't imagine the New York Liberty are not including Sabrina Ionescu in any of their marketing. I can't imagine they're not including Brianna Stewart in any of their marketing. So the Indiana Fever made a calculated decision to not include Kelsey Mitchell in their marketing, which makes me believe that they're leaning towards letting her go. And I think it's the right decision because there are many a time where you watch Kelsey Mitchell and you're like, she is a cancer. She is a team killer. She is a ball stopper. She has a truckload of talent, but she does not help you win. Like the fact that she got hurt and had a rhabdo attack in Game 5 against Vegas. Interesting, right? Just very odd timing. And I'm not saying it didn't happen, but a very interesting timing for it to happen. That's all. Now, question then becomes who you're replacing her with, because that is the reason that you can afford to potentially let her go. Is one, there's a player in the WNBA draft that will be draftable more than likely when Indiana drafts at number 10. I'll talk about her in a second. But then there's also players that are going to be available in the WNBA free agent market that I think are going to be very, very open to playing with Caitlin Clark. Okay. So you may ask who? I'll give you some names. So the first name I'm going to give you, obviously, you may have heard today from Ben on his video. Jackie Young. And now the concern now with Jackie Young is that apparently the reports are is that she's dating Dejanay Carrington. And that's a concern because we all know that Dejanay Carrington is a loose cannon. And when she dated Nalissa Smith, you had a double agent on your team who was seemingly sabotaging the team and not playing as hard against Dejanay Carrington when they would play. I don't know that Jackie Young would do that because I think she's a competitor and she probably fits this better than anybody. Um, However, she's probably also going to be asking for max money. So, and I don't think there's really more than a handful, if any, if that many, of max, super max level players or max players in this league. Now, there are going to be players that are going to get paid, no doubt about it. But I don't know that there's that many that I would consider elite players. Like if you ask me right now, who do I think is the max player, super max player? It's really simple. It's Asia Wilson and it's Nafisa Collier, and that's basically it. I question it on Sabrina Ionescu. I question it on Brianna Stewart. I question it on Kelsey Mitchell. I question it on Kelsey Plum. I question it on a lot of players who are thinking that they're going to get it, who might be surprised and not get it. Now, Alyssa Thomas, Satu Sabli will be crying for it. Um, and there might be a handful of other players. Now, I think Jackie Young would be a great fit for the style. However, that dating situation is a concern. Now, the player that I would also be looking at very, very closely is Alicia Gray. Alicia Gray is a really, really good two guard. She's a big two guard, much bigger than Kelsey Mitchell. Physical player, scorer, can put the ball in the hole. I think she's like a silent assassin to me, and people don't really know enough about her, so they're being more apprehensive about her. But she's a ball player, man. Like straight up, she's a ball player. Could she handle the day-to-day pressure of playing on a team with Caitlin Clark and the overwhelming media attention? That remains to be seen. But she would be a player. She's an all WNBA player last year. First team, had a great season. And she is one that I think would flourish playing next to Caitlin Clark. I mean, seriously, flourish. She's one that I could see averaging more points than Caitlin Clark if she played with Caitlin Clark. Because she is just a very, very efficient player as well, in my opinion. Not to say Kelsey Mitchell's not, but Kelsey Mitchell has a way of making easier shots tougher at times. So those are two players. Now, I'm going to bring up another name that doesn't necessarily fit the bill of Kelsey Mitchell, but fits the bill for which you can actually make a shift offensively and you can actually move Caitlin Clark off the ball because you have a legitimate point guard that you could truly trust with the ball, and that's Skylar Diggins. Skylar Diggins is a legitimate vet. She has a passion to win. She wants to win. She doesn't take shit from anybody. She's 35 years old. That's the one concern. She's a little bit older. And I'm not talking about signing to her a long-term deal, maybe a 1 year, maybe a 2 year deal. You're definitely not signing her long-term. She's a shorter-term deal. But you have a player like that who's a legitimate point guard who also can shoot the ball, so she can play both. And some people might disagree with it, but I do believe that she's a player that you can pair up with Caitlin Clark, that if you really want to give Caitlin Clark some time off the ball, she'd be a player I feel comfortable with giving her time off the ball because she put the ball in Caitlin Clark's hands to score. There's no doubt about that in my mind. She would get Caitlin Clark the ball to put that ball in her hands. So those are the three players in the league that I would genuinely be looking for as potential replacements. Look, if you can find a way to get Sabrina Ionescu to leave New York and come to Indiana, by all means, I'd say do it. No question about it. Sabrina Ionescu would happily slide into the two spot. She's not a legitimate point guard. She's a two guard. We all know it. She's a gunner. She can shoot. She has, I mean, the range that you would have with her and Caitlin Clark, she has crazy range too. She doesn't have that Caitlin Clark range, but she's the closest thing to it in the WNBA. So I would look at her as a possibility, no doubt about it. But there is a player in the draft that I think should be really, really looked at. And that would be if you're looking for a player like a Kelsey Mitchell, Tanaya Latson is a literal carbon copy of Kelsey Mitchell. Like, for those of you who have not seen Tanaya Latson play basketball, she's a guard at South Carolina, played at Florida State, was number one scorer in the country last year as a junior at Florida State. Decided to transfer against her better judgment, in my opinion, has decreased her value and stock because of that decision, because her numbers have dropped exponentially in the one season that she's had at South Carolina. She's been moved off the ball. She was ball dominant at Florida State, which I understand, but she also averaged over 21 a game per 21 a game per year until her third year, where she averaged over 25 a game. So she's a scoring machine. She shoots at a pretty good clip. And I mean, this year she's shooting nearly 50% at South Carolina. So her efficiency's gone up while playing with better players, but her scoring has gone down. She's taking fewer shots. That said, she's a scorer. And she doesn't need to be a point guard. She doesn't want to be a point guard, but she's a scoring guard. And Caitlin Clark can make her life really, really easy. I could legitimately see, and it would be actually to me a very good draft decision if the Indiana Fever drafted her, regardless of whatever they do in free agency. I would draft her because she's dropped. I mean, last year she's probably a top 5 pick, top 6 pick. Now she's being put in the bottom of the first round. Some people don't even have her in the first round. I would grab her at number 10. I think that she'd be a great fit next to Caitlin Clark because she's a scoring guard. There was a point where I would be going after Flau'jae Johnson, but I don't know that Flau'jae Johnson is mentally here for basketball. I think she's got so much shit going on outside of basketball as a rapper and performer that I don't know that basketball is her focus. I just don't see it anymore. I'm a humongous fan of hers. I thought she was the best all-around player in the country. This year she has not been good. Like this year she has not been. And when I say best all-around, I mean everything. She does a bit of everything. She may not be the best shooter, the best ball handler, the best this, but all together she does everything. It makes her a Swiss Army knife to me and makes her the best all-around player in the country. And she was averaging like 19 points a game last year. This year she's averaging like 14 or 13. It's not good. So I've shied away from that thought. But Tanaya Latson, she fits the mold. She's literally what Kelsey Mitchell is. She's 5'8", scoring guard. It's what she is. I would look at drafting her regardless of whatever they decide to do because she's going to be on a rookie deal. So her contract will be much smaller than any of these other players. And you'll lock her in for 4 years. Like, that's what you want to do. At least that's what I would do. So those are my thoughts. I'd love to hear yours. Leave a comment, like the video, subscribe, but let me know what you think. What do you think of the players that I proposed? And what do you think of Tanaya Latson as your draft pick? I know I had some people tonight in my live saying you want to go to big or a power forward or whatever. I mean, that if there's a legitimate option there, yeah, sure, possibly. But I don't know that there's a legitimate option at number 10 for a power forward who could start or a legitimate backup big who could play behind Leah Boston. So I think for the sake of Caitlin Clark's career and forward progression, I think Kelsey Mitchell's got to go. I really do. I think it's a wrap for Kelsey Mitchell. The Kelsey Mitchell, Money Mitch, put him in the ditch. That experiment's over. That experiment's over and done with. I don't want to hear about it anymore. I hope they pull the trigger and say, get gone. I hope they leave her available in the draft. Let her go to Toronto. Let her go to Portland. She'll be selected. If they leave her unprotected, she will be selected. She'll be the first pick selected. And that team will then suck forever because she can't be the best player on a team. It's been proven. She was the best player for the Indiana Fever for 6 years. And they didn't win at all. Not even 500. So pack your shit, hit the bricks. It's time to go. That's my feelings. Y'all let me know y'all thoughts in the comments. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. I appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Thank you so much. Y'all have a good one. That's it for this one. This is Her Game, Her Way Women's Basketball, powered by Come On Now, the podcast. Come on now.